So, MightyMai episode 19. Let's go.
Yo, what up? This is Digi coming up, you know I got next. All these other rappers trash like it's Rob Ness. This for all the people that had said I'd fail. I'm dope in real life, but my beats are second round. I'm painting up the NFT game the same way Blake Jameson paints the NFL. I'm writing till my hands swell. I took mad wins and mad L's, and I'm the man still. Let's go. I pray to pave the way like I'm Jay Delay with the vaporwave. Yo, I made a wave with my writing, it's exciting. They gon' pay max like Osiris for what I say today. I may be the brightest fighting on the 808. I'm the greatest in the space, not a popular confusion. If y'all don't see the comments proving y'all got ocular delusion. What I do's conducive, introduce the trash movement to the new kids. Hey, I'm relaxed, I lay a track on the beatbox, yo. I spit the facts like I'm Decline, yo. I see it all, I never be blind, yo. And here's the kicker, I'm giving y'all a peace sign like Jeremy Fisher. Growing up, I was a hard-headed skull kid. I ain't even in the game and already focused. Yo, I'm owed some props. I'm animated like I'm Okamak. This a bull run, I'm never known to stop. And stay alert to the homie David Gersh. If it wasn't for that man, I never would've made a verse. This is who I had to be. It's a crypto fantasy. This a gummy and some LSD. Let's go. All I need is a mic and I could reach ya. I'm very New York like a dollar slice of pizza. You can tell I'm going far, man. This is being made history like the tar man Chris. Yo, I see it vividly. Look, I'm a talker and a doer. I'm eclectic like I'm Crypto Una. I tend to offend, but I get it in. I'ma make a mark like I'm Trash Art Benjamin. Yo, I've been the best, giving y'all the magic like it's Wizard X. And it's free, I never took a check. This is Digi, y'all know me. Shout out to the OGs. Let's go. Let's go.
Shout out to the OGs. So, welcome to this MightyMai show episode 19. Shout out to It's DG for this joint that I found out this week, and who is, a tribute to all the early crypto artists in the space, the visual art, the trash art, more specifically. But yeah, I love the tracks and wanted to open the show this week with it. And so, yeah, this week we're going to have a very special guest with us, which is Scrilla, a crypto music pioneer since 2014. And there's a lot to talk about with him as he's dropping his Async piece for the wave 2 of Async music, which is very exciting. And we're going to talk about the other release before he joins us. And after the show at 8 p.m., he's going to do a live show. A DJ live set at the venue, the Playground from DIO Record, hosted by Vandal. So shout out to Vandal as well. And yeah, happy to be with you tonight on TokenSmart. I brought up a few news that I found very interesting in the music this week. And so I'm happy to be with you, Mai, to talk about it. And how are you?
Yeah, dude. I'm doing good despite the technological obstacles that we've been facing. But this is good. Always nice to be here in TokenSmart with the squad and the community. Love the chat. Shout out to the chat. We got Johnson Vest, Sarah Casper, Lindsay, obviously, Tigbo. Shout out Tigbo, by the way.
Yeah,
our clip guy.
out.
He crushes it.
Absolutely.
Wintana, Imparfume, Gojaw, love it.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, hard coding the chat into the videos and the replays is very interesting to me when you come back in time, you look back 1 year or 2 year, you were saying what the feeling in the chat was. And I feel that very interesting to combine all these medium together to very capture the moment. So each participation in the chat is very important in relation to the show as well. And so shout out to your...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So yeah, shall we start? The big news of the week is the Async drop number 2. And which has been announced this week, and Scrilla is part of it, but as well as bigger artists. We've seen Mike Shinoda announced, but he hasn't dropped already. It's about to be dropped tomorrow, the 27th of May. So Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. There's as well the big crypto artist Pac, who collaborated with Legato. Richie Houghton, who's definitely an OG in the techno music scene from 20 years ago, and he's definitely still killing it today, being in the blockchain revolution. Who collaborated with someone that has the same last name, so I cannot say if he's his brother or something, but Skrilla. Oh, Skrilla and Beat Antiques. So 4 new release plus 5 tomorrow with the Mike Shinoda's drop. And we've seen interesting concept emerging from this wave 2 as the limits that artist has pushed from the first wave has been pushed like way crazier for the new releases. Because, for example, for the release with Pac and Legato, they pushed the number of combination up to more than 3 million combinations for the whole piece. So I don't know if I don't know how much time it will take to explore the whole combinations, but that is still very interesting to get to experience it, and that's what they've done. And yeah, so have you seen?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
no, that's sick. I mean, these are some huge names. That's one thing to mention, but just having that kind of combination that gives you a lot of like this just brings a whole new element to art, music, or music as a whole, and it almost makes it a different. This is almost like a different form of art when it comes to music, and um, yeah, I'm hyped up about this whole async art thing. Um, because it really, I mean, yeah, like how long would it take you to go through all 3 million combinations? I mean, that could keep you busy for the whole year. A lot of people like just enjoy one album, whereas you might in the future I could see a single async drop or a single async combination of songs being like the thing that you listen to the most because you just love that one thing so much and you just keep doing different combinations with it. It's such an interesting concept to see how far that this could go.
Yeah, I'm trying to look out exactly for the number of combination that Pac and Legato I've came out with, but it's 9 stems, and each stems have 9 variations, so it's 9 multiplies 9 multiplies 9 9 9. So that ends up more than 3
Oh
million
wow.
combination. And yeah, that I don't know if in our lifetime we'll be able to listen to the whole work of art, but that's very interesting.
Anytime,
So,
mate.
What was that?
are you here?
Am I still here? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I heard someone too. I wasn't sure if that was us. But yeah, the 9 thing, that's interesting. It's very similar to um I watched a private access video from Connie actually where he
Hmm.
talks about how the 369 influenced your and his piece. So I find the 9 element resonant with that same concept. I wonder if he was also inspired by such a thing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, that it's a it's a private access video, token gated by Hugh, which I actually see Axxess on this list. Not to jump there,
Yeah,
um,
we're about to
but
talk
that's
about it. Yeah, we can talk about it right now, actually, because yeah, I've noticed this tweet from Connie Digital. I think we have a hot mic somewhere. Um, I
yeah,
think it's Ohm.
Someone's driving in the car.
Ohm, your mic is not muted, so
You
we
could
hear
probably
you.
mute him actually if you
I don't know.
I know that
I
I might
think,
be able.
yeah, okay, I just did. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna unlock you later. Yeah, so um, Connie tweeted today to. So you, sorry, Mai and Connie did a new track called Lil Vendetta, and you give it access through the gated protocol to give early access of the song before it's released, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is just kind of all just building on top of the private access thing that we've been kind of dabbling with. But he's been executing a lot more with a lot more ideas here, which is cool. So this is, yeah. So this is basically the track right now. You can actually, if you have 1,000 Hue, used by MintGates technology, you can actually go and listen to the track now.
Mhm.
Um, and man, I gotta say, I say this to Connie every time he sends me like a snippet of the song, because I mean, Mighty, maybe you can relate to this, but typically, like when I work on a song with someone else, I make it, I made the beat, sometimes I'll make stuff and I'll pretty much just not really listen to it again after it's done, in a sense.
Mhm.
And every time he's played me a snippet back and I've like listened to the song, I'm like, oh my god, I was like, this shit slaps. So I'm not to say like, hey, go peep this song, because it's like obviously like I'm a part of it, so it's like maybe that's a bit lame to like say, but I'm just like, I mean, this track does slap. So if you want to get early access, I mean, no better time to get Hugh now. I'll tell you that. But it is yeah. I mean, this track is a fucking slapper, and he crushed it. And there's a lot of cool elements to this track. So but yes, it is token gated currently. Um,
I,
and yeah, I mean, go ahead, sir.
no, I wanted to play the little sample on Twitter. Actually, I wanted to go through the token gate thing, and I have 1,000 view, but I don't know why the MinGate's website kind of time out every time I try to access the content. So I don't know
Oh
what's
no.
happening, and I tried with two different browsers, and it was the same problem. Maybe I will try later, but just to mention you as we're trying and experimenting with it. So yeah, I
Okay. Well,
couldn't
that's
yeah, still couldn't hear the full version, but here's a small sample from the tweet.
well. Yeah, this is just the beat, for the record. This is like just
Okay,
part of the beat without the vocals.
okay. That's heavy. That's mega heavy.
Yeah, it's I actually couldn't fully really hear that, but yeah, no, yeah, it's just a beat for now. But yeah, no, I mean, with the vocals and everything in there, and there's like cool little switch ups in there as well, near the end. And it's cool because it's like, it has that like trappy 808 feel, and then it also, this is bad news. Hold on, just for
Hmm.
the record. Has anybody successfully accessed the song through Mintgate? Because that's a problem. Um,
Yeah,
and I will definitely, I'll let Connie know ASAP, so that
yeah. As we
we
are
can.
experimenting with it, I think it worth sharing the experience. But yeah, I see Elbow as well saying that he's unable to get into Mintgate as well, and but I think I remember one time I used it and it worked, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm speculating on my memory. Um, but yeah, it worth
No,
experimenting, and it's still the early days of this tool. So yeah, that comes
absolutely.
with it.
Right, for sure. But if there is like something
Yeah,
kind of
GB
going wrong
says
here.
he's been into the mean gate, so I don't know what exactly the issue is. I will maybe try it later, and probably it will work at some point. No doubt.
Okay.
So
Well, okay. Well, hey, I'll let them know, and if there's a if we kind of keep
mhm.
getting that response.
Sure, but that's definitely a great initiative. Shout out to you, Connie, on uh, investigating even further the token gating experiments. And I think here is a very great example of what you can do in terms of strategy as an artist, a music artist, to pre-release access to your music with an engagement of your personal social token, and then so it's kind of a teasing but involving the financial layer and the involvement from your audience into your economics, your tokenomics, and I find it very clever. So I'm curious to see whether what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
And that's a good way to put it. Can you
mhm.
still hear me, by the way?
Yeah, here you good.
Okay, cool.
But
Because it started to slow up there for a second.
so in the topic list, the NFTM is something I just came out with before the show, which stands for News from the Metaverse, and I think we should brand it there ASAP. But yeah, News from the Metaverse, and the Connie's tweet was part of it. There is a few experiments going on that I wanted to shout out and talk about, and connect the news all together. So there's this famous experiment from Vandal we talked a few weeks ago, but he wasn't able to do it because of the gas fee storm, and which is about it's called the Rare Vandal, and so there's 4 tokens that if you bring all together, you can unlock a 5 token. So they are released on the market, and then the experiment will be about seeing if the market at some point succeeds in bringing them all together to unlock a 5, the last token, special token. And so it's now live, and through the new MintBase now on Mainnet, on the Near protocol Mainnet, sorry. And so yeah, it's 2 good news coming together, especially with the release of Mintgate finally live on Mainnet with the Near protocol. So I think it's the very early days, but you are able to deploy a store and create your NFTs through the Near protocol, and that's what Vandal did for this project. So he solved the gas storm issue with innovating with MinBase, and yeah, so I'm very happy to see all this coming together, and I will be curious to experiment the new MinBase platform, as I was personally early involved in it and loved minting on it. I love the spirit of the team, and they have built a great community and a great team since 1 year. So yeah, definitely, I love to see this happening all together. So yeah, have you seen that? Yeah, they moved to
I really
Lisbon,
like.
Space Painter. Yeah,
Oh,
they
my bad.
actually raised funds. Yeah, so they moved to Lisbon and were able to hire a full team and start the development of actually post beta MintBase. Yeah, the new rebranding of MintBase, which has a great great promises, great potential. That's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah. Well, when it comes to the rare Vandal cards, I definitely love the design of these are sick. I know they're not on the screen at the current moment, but I really like the design of these cards, and I love the gamification aspect of this. I think that's super dope. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm curious. So what is it about MintBase that kind of like gives it an advantage, so to speak? And if it does, what is it that that MintBase is doing that's different than another kind of minting platform that's kind of giving this a little bit of an edge, or is it kind of just new and he's just kind of giving this new platform a try?
No, it's definitely not new. They have been around since more than 1 year with the wave of the Raribles, OpenSeas, Super Rare, and all the early platforms. but they suffered from the gas storm, like many platforms, and their innovation was to jump early on what would be a layer 2 Ethereum solution, and on the different solutions that were available on the market, they choose to collaborate with Near, which was as well very promising. And so they've been working for several months now to implement the Near protocol onto their NFT market. And so they are definitely already very experimented. They were the first to, maybe not the first, but amongst the first to create the music NFT with Vandal. And so Vandal has always been very close to MintBase, and they have been experimenting with the music NFT things since yeah, 1 year, 1 year and a half, something like this. So now the new thing is a rebranding, and as well as having the layer 2 protocol that allows to mint with very low gas fees.
Oh, okay, so it's just it's basically just like a cheaper way to mint.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And as well, a big innovation is that they are the first to reach up to 15 royalty collaborators on the contract on an NFT. So they've been raising the bar here as well.
Interesting. Well, I know that is that similar to, like, say, what Mirror Splits just did?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But there's two kind of splits. There will be the revenue share split, which is the royalty split for the first time sale, and then a royalty split, which takes place for each time the piece is sold on the market. So it's two different kind of royalties that applies in different kinds of situations. Um, you can apply share revenue splits to an investor or someone that takes place in the sale, but not necessarily in the royalties of the piece. And so that's why there's two categories of royalties here, one for the sale and one for the overtime royalties.
Okay.
But yeah, no,
Well, that's cool.
that's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and like the more simple. Well, I don't want to say simple, but the more like mediation behind like gas and all of these things, and the faster that these kind of like minting companies innovate, I think that's probably the biggest advantage that any of these companies could have right now, is basically doing stuff that it simply needs to be done, but nobody has done yet because it's so kind of
Hmm.
early, and maybe it's like, oh, like, do we need to have that many splits? Do we need to make it super simple for like a new person to be able to do this or that on? So I think that that's like a good advantage to see them happen.
Yeah, Lindsay, I liked talking royalties. Actually, that's my biggest concern today when it comes to trying to evolve in the NFT and the music space. Are the royalties hard coded in the contracts? The answer is yes. I've seen contracts from the explorer of the Near blockchain, and you can see that all the royalties are coded into the contracts. And so, yeah, what up, Vandal in the house? And yeah, no, that's very promising, and to me, that's the biggest concern because I want to step up the music game, but it's hard to do so when there is no very clear layer for royalties split when doing NFTs, and that's a problem because stepping up means you want to get more artists involved, bigger artists that you work with around you or whatever. Even the major industry has struggled on this because there's too many people involved, and you cannot, and it's hard yet to hard code the royalties into an NFT. So definitely a shout out to MintBase for raising the bar here, because yeah, stepping up the music NFT scene will be only able, or it will be a great milestone to have really a go-to place for minting NFTs with different collaborators, especially when it comes to music, because we know it's a little bit easier for visual art, but when it comes to music, you often comes with 2, 3, 4, and plus people involved in a project. So yeah, that's my biggest concern right now about stepping up the experimentation into the music and blockchain scene. And so I could go on and mint my own music one by one, the kind of where I'm alone owning the royalties and so on, but I can feel limited to this as the experimentation to me will go way further once this will be truly unlocked.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like I mentioned too, like the mirror splits kind of does this, but mirror you have to kind of be accepted, and there's like a whole process of being able to utilize that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't MintBase doesn't have like an acceptance process, right? Like I could go and
No, it's
kind
an
of do this
open
right now, right?
platform. Yeah, it's an open platform, so everyone can open an account and create NFTs.
Yeah, that's a good, man. That's what's up. And shout out Vandal in the chat. What up, dude? We were just talking about your cards, man. I love the design. They're sick.
Yeah, I agree. And I was excited to see this unveil. So here we are. And make sure you go check the rare vandals. I'm sharing the link in the chat. And yeah, so I will be sharing as well the link of the venue where you can start watching the show and then the interview with Rare Scrilla and then the live set with Scrilla as well after the show. And we can move on. What was the next news I had this week? An interesting thing was this article about a new platform. It seems like there's a lot of cooking around the Tezos blockchain, and Hink and Nunk was one of the first example of something cooking around the Tezos blockchain, being able to do the NFTs features and so on. And so they've been working. There's a new platform called OneOf, which seems to be music oriented. That kind of did the marketing thing around. So they, before the platform started, they came with big names. Like Whitney Houston, Doja Cat, Quincy Jones, Jacob Collier, G-Eazy, and these kind of big names. But the platform isn't really launched yet because it's soon to be launched. And they just raised as well $63 million in seed fundings. And so, yeah, something seems cooking big here. And
Yeah,
yeah, I wanted to
very.
bring this to you.
Yeah, this is a really strange roster.
Yeah.
You know, I I find the description kind of funny too. They say music by the late Whitney Houston, and then they go straight to Doja Cat.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect to Doja Cat. I actually think Doja Cat's incredibly talented. I mean, she consistently makes hits, but it's pretty. Yeah, I think this is a really strange group of people. And then they got Quincy Jones, Jacob Collier, and G-Eazy. I mean, just such a strange group of people. But yeah,
Yeah, it seems like
that's
random marketing. You take a set of big name, you put all of them together, and you throw an NFT platform. That's kind of what it did to me. And you bring into that the ecological minting in the middle of that, and $63 million in seed. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just the shape of it that seems. You take. It sounds like a recipe. You take this, you take that, you bring that all together, and you shake a little bit, and then boom, magic. But who knows? Maybe it can be a very promising project as well. I cannot say I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, it just seems or sounds like they did the thing the opposite way. Instead of creating your platform, build organic. Um, Activity, bring young artists, talented creatives around the world, and create your reputation. It's the other way. You say it's gonna be a huge reputation, and then you start the product.
yeah. I mean, well, I like we kind of hinted that this was a possibility that they could possibly pull that off. If they got the right names kind of to go behind it, you can kind of blow up the product just by the names. So, but I mean, it really like it won't last if there's nothing. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, exactly. They need the product to actually be good if they actually want it to last for sure.
Hmm.
Um, speaking of this, I'm not to like completely switch topics. I'm curious
No, go.
if you have heard about this Epik Prime project.
No, I don't think so.
This is something that's kind of not really related to music, but I think that it's going to bleed into probably every aspect of what we're talking about here, because one of the biggest things that we talk about is when is there going to be a massive, super successful, everybody's involved metaverse world where everybody is um, kind of in there and using it, and maybe there's music in it, and it's exclusive to just that metaverse, blah blah blah, and it's items are ownable, certain aspects of different games are ownable, all of that. But basically, Epic Prime seems to have backing of like a lot of huge, very successful people. Some would say elites are backing this project, which I find crazy. But it's a gaming project. I don't really know too much about it, but I just know that it looks like it could be very promising for the potential to create like a kind of an open metaverse where NFTs and collectibles are going to be more brought to the mainstream, so to speak, because there's a lot of very mainstream companies that are involved in it. But it has yet to like actually be open to the public. I think they opened registration, but basically it was like, but no, that I don't know if that's it.
Can you share?
Epic, sorry, Epic with a K.
Oh, yeah, got it.
Epic Prime. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I like Super World as well, Vandal. I'm very excited about this. I wanted to grab a platform there, and but no, I haven't heard about Epic Prime yet.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I didn't want to like kind of just spring it up randomly. I just it was something that kind of triggered me whenever we were talking about the last thing, because this is something that I'm really interested in. If you look at their backers, it's kind of incredible,
I see
and obviously,
Universal and Warner Music Group in there. Yeah, and Tencent. So yeah, they seem to have music related collaboration partnerships. Spinning records. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, dude, you can even see like I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, no,
Do I
it
read
gets pretty wild.
Do I read Corn X Adventure Quest 3D? Okay, interesting. That sounds good to investigate, but I haven't heard of that yet.
Yeah,
Basis of
don't
Chess.
want to.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see a lot of names that I know uh, from the music, so interesting. But yeah, talking about that, there was something related, but I kind of forget. Let me find it. Yeah, that was the Winter Music Conference. Do you know about the Winter Music Conference?
um, I don't think so.
So the Winter Music Conference is a conference since more than 20 years that happens in Miami, and which is focused on the EDM scene. Yeah, and when I did my hit records back in 2008, that was the thing that you had to go, to be part of the business world and so on. If you wanted to meet all the DJs in the world, the biggest DJs across the world, you had to go to the Winter Music Conference, and that was fun because it was kind of the mood of a giant party, pool party with business. So that's how the Winter Music Conference looked like basically for 20 years, and but unfortunately I couldn't go. Um, it's not that I couldn't. I could have gone there, but I don't know why. at some point, following the business side, I know that it would have been a good thing to go there, but something inside me always told me like, yeah, maybe that doesn't worth it, or maybe for the fun, but for the business, I'm not sure that's where I want to go. But yeah, that's always an event that I've covered since 20 years, and I was curious to see it re-pop in the news because they turn this year for a virtual conference, and but what triggers me was the set list of the talks about what they were talking about, and what surprised me is that they got to the NFT and blockchain level, but at the conference level, the EDM conference level. And so they organized, there's a talk about NFT, a discerning look at the music industry's most hyped format since MP3, or the future of transaction, how blockchain technology is changing the industry. And several talks around the technology and the disrupting, the future of VR and virtual live events. And so I was kind of happy to see all these topics coming here together, because I know how hard the crisis have hit the electronic dance music world, because it's mostly based out of clubs and DJ set and festivals and so on. So it's one of the scene that has been affected the most, I believe. Um, so yeah, happy to see them coming back together into a virtual live event and turning to these subjects. So they seem to be now, because of the hype and the early year boom of NFT, all these subjects are definitely now on the table of every major executive, labels, bookers, and all the industry is now aware of the existence of the technology, and that's very interesting to witness.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, um, I don't really know too much about this, but yeah,
Hmm.
you're totally right. I mean, as the technology just keeps getting more and more obvious that it needs to be used and that there's a way to kind of exploit it, so to speak, I'm sure that it will be implemented into probably every single big business. So this is interesting. I don't really, like I said, I don't really know too much about this, but other than
Yeah.
what you just said.
Lindsay asked me if I've ever been to a music tech biz conference, and except in France, not really. And I cannot say that the best ones are in France. I've been in Amsterdam as well for the Amsterdam dance events. Yeah, the Midem as well. That's some. I always covered all these events, but I've never been to. I don't know. I got enough insight out of them from my entourage and my research that I didn't felt like actually going there. And always there needs an certification to go there, which wasn't really my process in general. So I couldn't get the accreditation to go to all these conferences. Yeah, you need the certification in the sense, or you need to be a professional. So you need to be a label or a professional artist or some kind of accreditation. Yeah, to attend there. You pay a ticket, but I believe this ticket is very expensive to attend there, and so yeah, they're very expensive in general. So no, but since the era of the internet and everything kind of being replayed, and there was a big conference every year in Paris, which was the conference for the club life in general, and I was going there as my dad was a music dealer, a vinyl music dealer, and so we were invited, and I could attend these kinds of events and meet different kinds of people. But yeah, I've never been to Miami, playing the pool. But which was funny to me is that all my friends, DJs at the time in Paris, were all hyped and taking their flight to go there and pool party. And so I got all their memories that they were all counting to me, saying what was happening there and all the fun they have, but which I didn't really bought in because I kind of seen the behind the scene, and yeah, the fact that it's not, it's all illusions. But yeah, it seems that you can do some business there, but you can do business elsewhere as well. So yeah, that's my point.
Nice.
I'm, I thought about you when you were talking about the wallet's support for NFTs in music in general, and I saw some attempts from different wallets here, the Engine wallet, trying to work on NFT integration. So I believe that's definitely something in the work, and that will, soon be very standard.
Mm. So they're basically what they're adding just visual aspect to it, like
Yeah,
just being able to put videos and stuff inside of the wallet, or just be able to play the NFT video in the
yeah,
wallet.
yeah. For example,
That's sick. I do like that. I mean, it makes sense.
yeah, it will very soon, I believe.
Yeah, that it definitely makes a lot of sense that this. I mean, like that's it's like what we were saying earlier with like Mintgate. It's like, it's still in a we're still in a place where if you kind of just innovate before the next guy, that almost will give you an advantage, or just do something that is obviously needs to be done. That kind of will just put you in a spotlight. So having basically having these types of things integrated makes just total sense. So if I was MetaMask, or if I was the
Hmm.
developer of any of these popular wallets, I mean, these are things that would make sense for me to basically prioritize within the next year to 100% have. But maybe there's a layer of info that I'm not understanding. I'm just obviously from the consumer kind of user point of view, but yeah, it makes total sense that
Hmm. Yeah, Vandal mentions Allet, all in one wallet. The wallet is the platform. I haven't heard of it, but it sounds interesting.
Lindsay, is that a question for me? Am I MetaMask?
I don't know, but
I don't really understand. Are you saying I use it? Is that the question?
but yeah, in general, it's gonna be a standard to be able to read your NFTs in your wallet. I believe. I think I see this as very standard, but I can be wrong. But that seems to be the direction, yeah, to go. But yeah,
Yeah, just early innovation, right?
hmm, so I think I missed a question here. Let me find out.
I was actually checking the questions as well. I don't know if there's actually any questions for us, but
I don't know, but it's soon the time to invite Skrilla with us.
the
Inten-
wallet is your website. No, not to 100% just stop there for a second. I totally agree. The wallet, it won't be viewed as a wallet. I totally agree with that. I mean, the way yeah, it just makes perfect sense for that wallet to essentially, it's almost going to be like a part of your. It makes so much sense to just imagine that's a part of your phone. It's just an app on your phone, but it has all of your assets, whether that's videos. It's like your photo library, but instead now there will be more meaning and more value and more ownership behind all of these assets that we already kind of have that's on the phone. But now there will be like a monetary thing with it. But I do see it being more like your own personal website or your own personal like pocket of digital space. So I do feel that. But don't lose your phone. Yeah,
Mhm.
don't
Know
lose your
your
phone.
seed
Yeah, I mean you shouldn't
phrase.
lose your phone anyways.
Know your seed phrase. But I think I missed the question from Johnson Invest. If you can maybe reformulate. But yeah, it's gonna be time to invite Skrilla with us. Before he joins, I wanted to introduce his teaser from his Async Music drop, uh, which I love the vibe. I love this kind of teasing It sounds authentic. Yeah, so here is the teaser.
This async piece is geared to control the art and the music that's played.
Once thought I was on solid ground. Now I'm staring at my computer with doubt piling round. It all started when my friends told me about this concept. Digital currency, encrypted, gave my mind depth.
Enter the kill zone, was scrolling over the bro on tilt mode, like when the stilts go on Silk Road in my Silk Road.
Yeah. We run ting ting, no run we. Run ting ting, no run we. Man, release the Kraken. Lazarus spins to get the fish like you.
Yeah, that was the teaser from Money Badger, the piece from Scrilla, just released yesterday on Async Music Wave 2. So, and I have to say I FOMO'd into it and bought an edition. So I already recorded one of the status of the song because I loved it. And yeah, I'm very excited to have Scrilla with us tonight to talk about his crypto music journey. Shout out to the chat again. I see some people familiar from the MusicCoin team, which are with us tonight, and that I would be very honored to invite soon to talk about the early MusicCoin story and the rebranding of MusicCoin currently going on as well. Very interesting story. But
oh yeah.
Yeah. So what have you seen? Is there something that you want to talk about, that you have seen some reflections or thoughts that you have when it comes to music this week, Mai? Yeah, MusicCoin team is in here, Vandal.
No, that is sick that the MusicCoin team is in here. But wait, do you mean wait? So are you asking me just in general with music? Like
Yeah, this week have you had, because we brought some news like links and so on, but it's also about the thoughts and reflections we had on top of that. And as you know, these past weeks has been pretty intense for us in general and for the crypto art scene as well. It came with a set of thoughts and reflections that maybe you have outside of just checking the links and the headlines. Like your sentiment of today.
What'd you say?
Like your sentiment of today, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be honest, I've been pretty much head down, kind of just working on a few things, but the only thing I kind of saw in the past couple days, weeks, was just the things I'm kind of close with, which is I saw Matthew's drop on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just the music. I mean, just speaking just from a listener's point of view or just a music point of view, I think the music is super dope. And I think the experiment is going pretty well. I know that he has a few thoughts on it. I remember we in our song camp call this week, he kind of brought up that he misses the community aspect of things, which I definitely feel. But that's the only thing I kind of really paid attention to musically this week, other than just kind of like I said, kind of head down working on things. But
Hello?
yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, okay. I don't know when I cut out there.
No,
if I did.
You were speaking about this week.
I don't know where the last part. Basically, did you hear me say anything about Matthew's drop?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you just the 3 or 4 words have cut out, but we heard everything.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I pretty much was pretty unplugged from the music world, so to speak. Just basically, like I said, just kind of been just working on some things, adding to what we've been working on as well. Which shout out to you. We're almost ready to share that news.
Yeah,
but
I'm very excited about your drop. What you're working on right now. People watch out for the upcoming first NFT.
Yes, which I have no idea how it's exactly gonna go or work. There's so many ideas in the mind right now, but it's great to kind of be to be able to kind of discuss it with people like you, Connie, and the community, and really get some good feedback and really see what we're gonna do. But it's all experimental at this point in time, so it's good stuff. But it looks like our guest is in the
Yeah,
chat.
exactly. And I love to see all people coming together, Vandal and the MusicCoin team, because I know Vandal have been, grinding hard on MusicCoin in the early days, being an ambassador, and yeah, so we are updating everyone tonight, and yeah, we talked about a little bit offline with the MusicCoin team, and I would very love to do a kind of a resume of what's been happening since 2 or 3 years with MusicCoin and what's the situation today. But yeah, to me, they're one of the most experienced in the space. So it's like other platforms like Shun that or Usual Music, or the old good old platform that started music and streaming on the blockchain, are still here today, rebranding and learning from their mistakes and everything. So yeah, definitely some of the most exciting stories to hear, and with the greatest set of experience within the space. So we'll watch out for that. And so
Yeah.
yeah, anytime you want, Scrilla, you can join us and unmute your mic if you feel so, if you're ready.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, so cool to hear you.
Yo.
Hello.
What's going on? I've been listening the past hour.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
great. I
Very
appreciate that.
interesting show.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You guys make it so like you get like a week's worth of rabbit hole stuff to go in after you talk for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't cover everything, but we do our best and try to pick the what's interesting and so on. But actually, I'm very excited. We kind of crossed since a long time now, and haven't really speaked on voice chat ever.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to have you, especially that we can talk about some innovative things happening for you and for the space in general. And I feel that you're one of the best to talk to when it comes to music and blockchain and its history in general and so on. So I have a lot of questions. I digged about your your journey into music a lot, and it's been very inspiring. And thank you for all the inspiration that you are bringing every day. And yeah, I have to stop there to let you talk, but
Yeah,
a lot
nah.
of things.
Thank you, Mighty. Nah, y'all, everybody in the space, you, Vandal, everybody, Easy, everybody that's doing it. It's everybody's doing innovation in this space. There's so much to do. Music and blockchain is still, kind of like the redhead stepchild of, NFT art or blockchain art, crypto art, whatever. But I think it's made quite considerable strides in the last 6 months and a year.
Mhm.
And I look forward to everything that's kind of going on. Like you were talking about earlier in the show, like the royalty thing, like built-in split contracts, like all that type of stuff. I think we're pretty far away still from like it being used like by everybody, but I think people like us, people that are in the space that are paying attention, I think we'll be experimenting with that and see how it works, and eventually all that will be good. Like even the music coin people that showed up, like they had like they were the first ones I remember doing splits on music back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. With the first mixtape of 1 hour and everyone getting a cut on it. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I had a Skype call with I forget his name now, the music coin founder, way back in the day when I was doing art on the blockchain podcast. We were talking about music coin right before it launched.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Was it
forget
Isaac?
the guy that was in a band. He's in a band in Canada. Pretty big band. I don't know. I forget his name now.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
okay.
he was one of the main guys.
But yeah, you've been very early since 2014 discovering or having a connection into the Bitcoin, the blockchain thing in general, and connecting the dots with music. And so far, you have a background where since 2007, that's the oldest record I could track from you on Discogs. And so you've been a music producer since very long time. Obviously, you're experimented in the music industry, traditional, let's call it like that, music industry with even collaboration with big names within the industry. And so what's the most interesting for me is your maturity when it comes to music in the blockchain space. So far that you minted a lot of tracks, you created avenues for people to meet. Like I know you're the instigator of a chat on Telegram, which bring together like the finest of your entourage on from word to mouth to get into a group of selected few ones to share about the music space. And so you're very active. So you're pretty much experimented with every platform from Rarible, OpenSea, Super Rare, Audius, like you said, Musicoin, Counterparty back in Bitcoins, and so much. And so that's interesting to see you today with Async, because from 2014 to Async, that's a huge step forward experimenting with the scene. So how do you feel first? That would be my question, especially after 24 hours of the release, where I saw there's already great success in the sales. So congrats for that. And yeah, so how you feel?
Yeah, and thank you for supporting that too, Mighty. You and Connie especially. Yeah, I feel great about it. This is an exciting week. I've been had my head down for the past 6 months working on nonstop projects that are all pretty much dropping in the next 3 weeks, and the Async one kind of kicked it off. And I think I started working that December of last year, and yeah, it was when I got the idea for it, I sat down and had to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. It took me like a week or two just kind of brainstorming in my head. And then I guess to even touch back on what you were saying before we get into the async piece, like I never thought about it like that from the jump from 2014 of what it was to like 2021. Now I'm putting out programmable music on the blockchain. That's pretty insane, because when I came into the blockchain space, I put out a record called Silk Road, and the record was kind of like an ode to like the dark markets and exploring Bitcoin and all that type of stuff. And my main thing was, when I was done with it, I was like, I had learned about Bitcoin by that time, going through it took like a year to make that album. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to sell this album for Bitcoin. That's going to be my main play. So I must have been dumb or something. I just couldn't figure it out. Like I couldn't find anybody that would, like merchants. There was no BitPay. There was no any of that stuff going on. And it really made me scratch my head. And I was like, oh, I thought this was like a currency and stuff like that. So I kind of went back to the drawing board for like a few months and kind of was like, just not even thinking about Bitcoin too much. And then somebody like called me up and was like, talking about like altcoins and all this stuff and how he's taking all this Bitcoin and flipping altcoins. I was like, oh shit. This is like 2015 or something, like right before, like kind of like right when it was really dead, honestly. But then it started popping. And that just brought me all the way back in. And then I learned about Bitcoin. And then I started like kind of putting my Silk Road album out to like some of the chats that I started joining, like in Telegram was a big place, and Twitter. And I was surprised, like, the Silk Road album, it was kind of it's a super niche record, like a lot of records I do, but it's it was targeted at dark market Bitcoin, like, almost like hackers and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, and like drug users and stuff, people that are using drugs on the internet. Like, it was kind of like, that was kind of my world at the time too. So like, it was like, I just made it like a soundtrack to that. So I was surprised when I started getting into some of the Bitcoin chats, a couple of like these like anon, like, like what I call, like, I don't know, they're like hacker dudes, you know what I mean? One of them like used to message me all the time and send me like screenshots of like people in like this hacker room, like watching my Silk video and stuff like that, and all this stuff, and like showing me like the amount of downloads that got on one site, and I was like, what the fuck? I was
Wow, crazy.
I had no idea it was permeating like that. And then that to even jump on that, like maybe a few years ago, so I put out a Gorilla Glue mixtape. And it was like slowed down, like kind of like syrupy, like music, but it was all vinyl, like spun from like 45 RPM, and I played it all at 33 RPM.
Yeah.
And I did like scratching and stuff like that and put like a bunch of samples on it. And somebody sent me an email, and they had used my record cover. It's called Gorilla Glue, which is like a high grade strain of marijuana. And they used it for packaging their shipment. And they sent me a screenshot of it. And I don't know who this person was. They're like from what I think was Italy or something. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here now? Like,
yeah, that's a weird
you
world.
got my name all over this shit.
Yeah,
like, the dark market, which I'm fascinated by it, but I'm not like a dark market person, so I don't want to confuse the two. I was just fascinated that so much like money could move through the dark market in that way, and like the whole like Silk Road and Ross and all that stuff. Like I got really like caught up in like how that all like transpired, and it really like was a viewpoint change, slowly, but that kind of set it off. It's like how I've always been kind of a conspiracy guy, but that was a wild thing. So.
Yeah, I see. Oh, you're in the right place. But so actually, that to me sounded like the early days of the metaverse, whether there were no virtual worlds yet, but the mindset was already there.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Exactly.
But yeah, as a transition, I wanted to play the Money Badger, the current state of the song, and maybe we can go deeper into it, because I feel that the current lyrics layer like sums it all. I could truly hear your experience and the maturity, like I said, of your journey. And so yeah, I think it's the best example to start from before we get into further talks. So
cool.
Let's go. This is Money Badger.
3 easy steps to make massive profits.
Once thought I was on solid ground. Now I'm staring at my computer with doubt piling round. It all started when my friends told me about this concept. Digital currency, encrypted, gave my mind depth. Convinced me to put money in, it rose fast. The blockchain was my trap, and some folks laughed. Tried to explain the game, they thought I hit demise. They couldn't process survival decentralized. But one day I believed hype on a shitcoin. Ivan on tech, got me caught up in the sick noise. Lost a lot of money, then I took another L. On Uniswap from a project when liquidity swelled. Then the pool drained, the migraines was from hell. Should've read the smart contract, a brother failed. DeFi scams would take you out, they be wildin'. So where in the distance, Jamie Dimon was smiling. But it could be worse, I'll survive with some knowledge. I know some fools who forgot passwords to their wallet. Hard drives worth millions, their memory slipped. And one guy lost his, know he wish he was hip to the whereabouts. A lot of altcoins I don't care about, but I do my research, cause the timing is paramount. You gotta stay up to date, changes are swift. Peace to Nakamoto, he gave us a gift. So who the fuck is Peter Schiff? I mean, for real, really though. Like,
so Carl, a gold rush here, even though it's a little hard to explain what the gold is.
Don't get caught up in that rug pool. In this game ain't no love, fool. Playing smart, that's the one rule. All this scamming shit is uncool. Don't get caught up in that rug pool. Caught up in that rug. In this game ain't no love, fool. Game ain't no love. Playing smart, that's the one rule. Smart, that's the one. All that scamming shit is uncool. Scamming shit is on.
It sounds like every good scam has this same fundamental system to it. You take something that has no intrinsic value, build up the perceived value, and sell it to a fool.
I feel like I got the worst luck. Felt inexperienced like when I got my first fuck. I still know not to buy crypto on Robinhood. The answer is simple, it's really just not as good. Don't even sell real bitcoins, that's a bait and switch. PayPal ain't no better, I can't pay for shit. And in the market, be prepared to the fullest. Keep animal instincts, whether bearish or bullish. Peep the block folio, don't let your homie know how much but you prone to grow. You ain't supposed to show, but you can help him build his, make days ahead bright. I'd rather be dead wrong than Craig right. Real revealed hits harder than lead pipe. Before you jump in, make sure that your head's right. Don't let nobody talk you out and live happy. Tell them suckers straight in the dick, ask McAfee. Don't get caught up in that rug pull. In this game ain't no love, fool. Play it smart, that's the one rule. All this scamming shit is uncool. Don't get caught up in that rug pull. Caught up in that rug. In this game ain't no love, fool. Game ain't no love. Play it smart, that's the one rule. Smart, that's the one. All that scamming shit is uncool. Scamming shit is on.
These people pumping these terrible, terrible investments.
Yeah, so that was Money Badger, and definitely congrats for that. I loved this version, so I recorded it. But yeah, it
So
tells
dope,
it all.
yeah.
It tells it all on the story, all the the bad side of crypto, and you can hear all the bad experiences, the rug pull in general, and
Yeah.
so that says a lot.
Yeah, the Money Badger. It's like the Money Badger is like the meta version of the track. Like the whole thing is based off of I did the art for it too, where I drew a honey badger doing different things. This one has a cover right now with his head cut off because he's trying to make money and he didn't. Obviously, he's got a shitcoin necklace on now. So yeah, basically in the whole grand scheme of the Money Badger, there's 3 songs. There's Rug Pull, which you just heard, which is like the get scammed newbie coming into crypto and you just like lose it all. Then there's another version where I got Kane Mayfield, who's my homie from a long time too. He did a song or lyrics on there about being like the alpha trader and like just killing it and just kind of like if like Colby or Loomdar was to rap type thing. And then the other one is more like contemporary raps. Like those two have like 2 moods of like, when things are bullish, you probably play the Kane Mayfield track. If you own that layer, I would think. If things are like last week, you play this rug pull track. And then the contemporary one is more like Camber and Born Unique, who are pretty, they've been in the underground hip hop scene for a while. And I gave them more like a street gritty vibe to like kind of use proof of work as like the metaphor for kind of what they're doing. So when that song comes on, it's kind of like more just like a contemporary street rap with like kind of using like proof of work in like like a hip hop way almost. So kind of give it like 3 feels basically, like some crypto feel and then some like traditional like more rap. Like it's got a little crypto in there, but it's not like the dominant subject matter.
Yeah, I see. And so obviously the blockchain space inspired this, but how did you fixed the idea like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this and do that this way, especially when it comes to the async medium, which is truly different when it comes to abording, getting into creating. And I would be curious to learn more about from the first time and actually how the connection made with async. I believe you had connection prior to that, but I have not so much clue. So yeah, how did it happen? And then from the accepting to participate on wave 2, from having actual material that start to sound good, and when you can say, okay, we're gonna use that, what's happening within that time frame?
Yeah, so I had started an album called Proof of Work in 2019, right before the Sound Money album. I started working on that. So I had collected a couple songs that kind of had touched a little bit on like crypto and stuff like that, but I never materialized on it. So I had one song with Born and Camber over a beat. The beat actually that's playing right now, it was that beat that I was like, all right, I want to use this beat as the base layer for this piece. I really like it. I haven't put it out there yet. And these 2 guys already had a song on it and it had touched on crypto a little bit. So I was like, I could start with that kind of, that's like the contemporary one and then move on. But then I'd been sitting on it for a while, and both one of the rappers, Born, known Born forever, so he'd give me a hard time. He's like, "Man, when you putting that song out? Not putting that song out." He started getting mad at me and stuff. So Camber, he used his verse on his album he had just put out with I think Fat Beats like a few months ago. So that verse is gone. I didn't know, so I hit him.
Okay.
He's like, "Oh no, I already used that verse, so let's go back and re-record it to match better anyway." So it worked out. Born Unique actually, it sucks. I got to tell him what we were doing, but he got locked up, so he's not able to enjoy the song release. And then so
damn.
that's a special case. And then I forget where I was going with that, but
yeah. So when you had to broke that all together.
Yeah, I got you. Sorry, Mikey. So
it's okay.
Yeah. So like then I was like, all right. So I just done an album with K Beta. He's like my lifelong, like I've been working with the dude since when I first started making beats.
Mm-hmm.
So we put out an album this past year that we worked on for like 5 years, and we've done a lot of Bitcoin music. Like I always give him like kind of go give him some topics. He knows crypto better than most of my friends, so he's able to kind of like really dig in. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't use him because he had just had a baby and all this stuff. So I started thinking, I was like, well, Waze and Kane Mayfield are both my homies, and I've done a lot of work with them. So Kane actually lives down here in Florida by me, and we're both from the DC area, Washington DC. So it was a good excuse to get with him and make something happen. I kind of like gave him like the topic and like kind of like he's gotten deep into crypto since we started this. Like this was like his like spark, like doing this song, and now he's like NFT mania. Like he's in like a lot of these Discord chats and stuff like that. Some of y'all might have seen them, but he didn't know all the words. I had to throw him some words and stuff like that. And then same thing with Waze. I was like, Waze is a dope rapper, but he also has like a side hustle where he does like raps for businesses and like jingles and all types of shit. So like he's really good at like taking subject matter and like really like positioning it into like a stanza to rap. So I kind of thought about that. I knew those guys could both write pretty quick because this is something that had to happen pretty quick. We had to turn it around. I think turn it in like in February or March or something. But when you released your record, Mighty, I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. Like it just made sense. Like it was dope. Like Async, like they reached out, and I know some other cats too. Like, they've reached out to like it's not just going for like big name artists like some of these other platforms that that are doing stuff like y'all are doing in here, and the crypto art people, and then it seems like they're getting some of they're gonna have bigger names too, I think, to pair with people and stuff. So it's a good look, I think, to have both on the platform.
Yeah, kind of like the news we talked about just before you came about what's the name again? Sorry, I
the Tezos one.
Yeah, the Tezos one, where you pick up random names that are not related to blockchain space, obviously, and then you marketize a big platform that no one knows what it will be, or or if there is even something different coming with it. But I very appreciate the fact that Async has invested or bet on the early music scene and the NFT crypto music scene before even reaching the bigger names, or if they did, they do with names that are involved in the space and bring truly something valuable to it.
Yeah. Like I've always been paying attention to Async art since they first launched, and they always had like a good feel. Like all the artists that they have an ethos about them. You can just tell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a crypto art. Like those. I was definitely excited to work with them. And yeah, I had met Conlon through ArtGnome. I started thinking about programmable layers sometime last year, and I just started asking around and stuff like that, like, is anybody doing this or anything like that? And then I got in touch with Conlon through Async and started picking his brain. And then we had a few like chats over like 2020 that sound like, it's like you said, it's a big step, like for a platform to do this. Like music's not what most of the collectors are out there collecting. Like, and I feel like that's just early. That's all. It's just people have to wrap their mind around the same way they did a JPEG is an NFT. Like they have to wrap their mind around. Like,
Yeah.
people used to getting music for free, and it's not that it's a double-edged sword because I'm a DJ. Like I definitely take music for free too as well, but I also find myself being very supportive and buying things as well.
Yeah.
But especially for producers and stuff. Even when the pandemic's over and stuff, people go back out. Like doing it as a producer is like a harder way to earn because you're not going out there doing shows generally unless you're like doing like a show on your box and stuff like that, which that people do, but it's far and few between. So you actually have to put together a show to eat off your album. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck just like eating off streams or getting like little checks here and there, and it's never been super lucrative. Like I've been producing for a long time, and I've been through the era where people just cash you out in the studio, and I've been through the era where people are like, give me a beat, it's for exposure type shit. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's always something. So this whole NFT space and being able to like take your brand and kind of monetize it and through the blockchain, through like these instruments where you're cutting out some people and you're kind of rewarding engagement and you're rewarding just the different utilities and metadata and the metaverse, all that different stuff you're touching. It's like the medium just touches a whole new space that I think everybody probably agrees. It's like you could do so many creative things, and I think that's why most of us are here, because you literally can just explore and see what works and what doesn't. And being early on any of this stuff generally it rewards you. Just most people have been in space at least a year. They probably got an airdrop or two that just from like being in the community early and trying things out and bootstrapping it basically. So
yeah, and this is very inspiring to be able with the internet to witness all that in real time, and that everyone takes a little bit of each other to build something. But what you were referring to basically, and I wanted to ask Mai after if he has some thoughts. But yeah, what you describe is basically my life in the sense of I've been DJing, I've been trying to set up lives and stuff. But in the end, I'm not at all a live person, performing person. So I rather want to focus my life around producing in studio and this life, and really focus 100% of my time doing so. But like you said, there were many bad situations where either you had to sell yourself to give a beat to someone that will maybe bring you a little money because of their celebrity and success, or it's very difficult to create a success out of nowhere, producing for artists that are not known and maybe that are even not inside of the on-record music industry, I would say the official market.
Yeah.
And so really what I wanted to why I went too much into the blockchain space, the research and everything, is kind of to solve the case of the studio person or even an artist alone, but I can scale it up to multiple studio productions with different kind of artists. But just to solve the fact that I can just live my life being a studio executive producer or composer or whatever, but a studio guy without having to force myself into other revenue streams like live shows or merchandising or stuff that I am not really into personally, and solve the situation, because there has to be a way for someone that just want to make a living out of composing or living in studio. It should be able, in my opinion, and from what I see, it will be possible, but it's not 100% the case. So that's where I'm definitely looking at the most. But I'm definitely interested in all kind of solution for all the fields into the music in general. But that's my personal quest.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's there's so many things that are broken in the music industry that, I'm not saying blockchain is going to save them all for sure, but
No.
there's things that can happen with blockchain. I think that will definitely be some things that could solve some issues. If the powers that be let it. I'm kind of enjoying I like, I'm an underground person by nature, so like that the crypto art scene always has felt like an underground vibe. Even now, like it's still there's a underground, and you got like the commercial access and all that stuff going on now, but there's still a certain, like, we're in an underground Discord right now discussing things. It's always where, like, you're on the edge, like you're talking to things to people about things that are on the edge of creativity. Usually in the underground, it's like where people go to, like, I don't know, that they got new shit to talk about. And so, like, I'm fine with crypto music being underground, and I like to expand it some more, obviously, and I don't, as long as us, like, independent artists can use it effectively, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is that would be a win to me, because eventually everything gets swallowed up. Anything that's good gets swallowed up. So like, there's like a fine line, before, like, the industry's like, it's worth it for, like, to, like, lose a bunch of money and reorganize and shuffle some blockchain shit, or maybe it just can be some stuff where, like, artists that, just want to carry their, like, 100 to 10,000, 30,000 fans, with them, and, like Patreon and blockchain and, different, Discord and stuff like that. You can kind of do that now. You can kind of create your own, like, hubs and social networks and, fan outreach. And, the NFTs, I think, help build a bridge, like a lot of people have been talking about. I think it's true. It's like the story, it's the NFT. So like a low effort NFT will be worth something sometimes because the story behind it, or like, just you're investing in, you want that person to keep going at what they're doing, and if you're able to support it, then that's what you do. And that's kind of how this community's got to get bootstrapped, like the same way the crypto art community got bootstrapped. It was artists collecting artists, and I think it's got to be the same for us musicians. Like, I know I try to collect as much music tokens as I can, just because I want to see the scene win. You know what I mean? And, like, I wouldn't be able to do that if I was broke and not earning anything either. So, luckily, I've had a little bit of success, so I'm able to, like give back. But I think that's important, like, especially early on, for us to win. We all gotta kind of, like, just, like, prop each other up, and which is happening. Like, the space, everybody knows each other. It seems like a little bit in the music NFT space, and it's like that. It's like a small family, with different little tribes.
Yeah, and we've talked about it, about the importance. The pieces are important, but the layer that constitute the ownership of the early crypto community is as important, I believe, in the future, that the pieces themselves. And so I totally follow you on the importance of supporting the space. But in the other hand, when I think of it, I'm kind of still not frustrated for myself, but for the music in general, that the big money, still is in the hand of the audience, and it just not targeted the right way. And so we now, as artists, have the ability to invest in other artists, which is totally new, because you wouldn't have seen back in the days Michael Jackson saying publicly on the media that he has bought the record of X, Y, or Z, just to be proud, like we do between artists here with the NFTs. But at the same time, the money within the artist community shouldn't be limited, because the big money is in the audience, which money is going to Spotify, to the traditional system, and
You cut
which
out.
is.
You cut out a little bit, Mighty.
Oh, do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah. So yeah, I was saying that the big money is still captured by the traditional industry, and I believe that's the piece of the cake we are trying to reach, or to reconnect with the right dots, because yeah, it may not be as sustainable as possible if it's only happening within artists.
Yeah, definitely. But just I guess what I'm saying, I agree with you. But to start with, the only way it's going to work is because artists are the one minting, artists are the ones experimenting. Like it's not the fans coming up and be like, oh, I need NFTs, I need music NFTs. It's kind of like we got to show the people why music NFTs are important, and so that starts with obviously creating a market a little bit, and that that's just buying, selling, and trading them. I think like the next wave of crypto, whenever that happens, I think like the music tokens are going to be I think there's going to be a lot of moves made over the next like 3-4 years. I'm not saying the bull market, I don't believe at all, is over, by the way, but when it does end and it fizzles out and the next wave comes, then I think people will build some stuff in music that really makes more sense, and then people will start looking back on some of these music tokens, it's the same way they look at crypto art tokens. And I think the new generation of people, man, when I had my nephews come over here, there was like 6 of them come over here for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and that's all they were asking me about was NFTs. They wanted to make their own NFTs. They wanted to do all this stuff. And I was like, these kids are like 12, 14, 16 years old. And I was like, how do y'all know about NFTs? And they're like, well, we don't, but we just keep hearing about them. We keep seeing them on TikTok and da, da, da. I'm like, Jesus. So I think, the silos and the communities, like it's all splintering. I don't know if we'll ever have it's possible we won't have like another like Beyonce or like Whitney Houston or something like that, because it's all being fragmented more. I feel like like there's like stars in the underground and stars in like certain areas, but I don't know. It seems like everybody has their own silos more and more, where they're going for information, and that trickles all the way down to people like us that are looking for our fans and our base, and sometimes that's in the base may be like 10,000 people worldwide, like that get you, and like you got to try to find that base, and you can eat off a base that is small but supportive, what I mean? And that's kind of where we're at with the crypto music right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. But I feel like I monopolized the talk. I'm wondering if Mai is with us and if you have some thoughts.
Yeah, Mai, what's up?
What's up, guys? Yeah, I just been listening in. Can you guys hear me right now?
I've just did a small introduction. You can talk.
I love it. No, yeah, I love when we have a guest on, because Mighty, you always kind of just run with it for a while, and I just kind of listen. I'm almost like part of the audience, which is a good thing.
I'm excited.
At all. Yeah. And I really am enjoying like everything you guys are talking about. It's like I completely share every sentiment. And there was a couple things that like sparked thoughts. One of the last things that you mentioned, Scrilla, was how you feel like there might not be any more Beyoncés, there might not be any more like celebrityism, so to speak. And it does seem like with this new technology, it's enabling pretty much any creator to kind of create their own little direct funnel, which enables them to be able to be free and create that value that they probably always have been providing, but just because of the way that the current industry is set up, it's just been robbed from the gate. And without understanding blockchain technology, it's like you don't really know that there's another way to kind of obtain that value. And once everybody realizes that that's the case, I think it'll be very I think it'll shift very quickly. And I do think that once everybody's here, you won't have as much celebrityism, but you'll have communities that are almost the celebrity. And but at the same time, you will also have those very niche people that are able to kind of make a living, and you just never hear about them. I mean, we kind of even see that now. And that also makes me bring up another thing I was thinking of, which is, a lot of what we're talking about is it's like there's two things that I always see from like the community, which is like, are you here for the technology, or are you here for the money? And in a lot of ways, I kind of feel like the question is like flawed, because the technology enables the money. And so, everything that we're talking about right now is basically like the blockchain itself, NFTs, all of these things. Sure, you can come in and you can try and like exploit the technology, so to speak, and try and like just basically make some quick money. But at the end of the day, like the real will retain. And really though, the technology is what's enabling you to be able to make the money. So, and I think that that's what's causing everything else that we just talked about, which is like, there won't be celebrityism, there will be more communities, and it'll be more niche. But yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of things there. I don't know if there's anything in there that we want to kind of jump on, but no, I definitely I feel it. I love the passion too for the music. I think that's very important to be able to kind of have found this space early. Is that I think if you found this space at this point in time, it's because you're so passionate about what you create that you've realized at some point that I'm worth more. And whether that's, you have to dive into this, what originally for you was like this dark web, where it was, it seemed like it was just all about doing, like selling drugs on the black market or whatever. But, it turned into something that people realized, once again, like this technology can help us obtain value for things that we have been creating the whole time. But the industry, so to speak, or the world, the mainstream world, has kind of duped us into playing their game. But this enables us to play our own game and create our own path. And so the technology is what almost brings the value. But that does also make you have to have a certain level of accountability and responsibility to kind of creating those paths and those funnels in creative and valuable ways, not only for yourself but for the collector, for the fan. So I think all that stuff is just it's dope. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to like summarize like the last 30 minutes of this combo, but
yeah, no, I get what you're saying 100%. I guess I just saw Bitcoin Audio is in the chat, right? Yeah. He helped me with one of the music pieces on this Async joint. He takes the output of Bitcoin Audio, like out of the blocks. He could take it out of like the transactions. He could take like the Merkle root. And he takes it and finds the melodies like in the blockchain, and then hooks it up to a synthesizer, and then finds like loops, and like you can MIDI it and play different instruments to it. I don't know all the technical details, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but so one of the music tracks for this Async piece, we did that. So it's a Bitcoin themed song. So I wanted to try to find a way to incorporate it somehow in there. So we took some of the music from there, and the melody from there, and made a loop out of it, and I dressed it up a little bit. And then my mix engineer, Mr. Wise, help get it right. But that's super interesting to me too, is that we're talking about like music NFTs and stuff like that, but you can make music out of the damn blockchain. Like I know other people have done some similar type of things, but I think that's pretty creative stuff too that you can do.
No doubt. Yeah. And I think this is a conversation I was having the other day, which is
Hello? Mai?
Hello?
I think Mai have just cut out.
Yeah.
Too bad. Were you talking about the Bitcoin audio synthesizer?
Yo, I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I in this?
I hear you now.
Oh, my bad. My bad. My shit's always fucking up. Um, uh, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Yeah. So the thing that really is interesting to me about NFTs is that, as a producer, engineer, whatever role you have now, I think the thing that's most interesting about this space is that right now it's still so early that we're trying to basically find value for things that we've been doing for the past 10 years or however long you've been a creator of whatever your trade is. But the thing that's so interesting about NFTs is that it allows us to be able to create an experience, and that doesn't just rely on the thing that you do the most. So for example, you might have a song and you might want to mint that, but you might do something in a metaverse world. You might add some sort of wearable to it. You might add some sort of gamification aspect to it. You might put a visual to it. And this all kind of just creates this very unique experience that the technology allows you to capture the value of. So it's almost like I see that the future of this is not just like creators will find themselves being jack of all trades, and I see that kind of being more common in the future, not necessary but more common. And not, and if it isn't like you're going to become the jack of all trades, I find that mass collaboration will also be very, very popular. And I think that's also going back to the point where it's like we won't have like these massive celebrities. I mean, I don't think that that's necessarily super true either, though. Like, as much as I agree with the concept of like we won't have super celebrities, I think that there will still be a way for the mainstream to pimp this out and find a way to kind of ruin what is being created here. But or just to exploit it, in their best way possible. I think that that's definitely going to happen. I mean, they didn't roll for the past, 5,000, 10,000 years, and just for the blockchain to ruin that all for them. No, not to be pessimistic, but I think that's just realistic. But so there still might be these mainstream, so to speak, creators, but I think that it's just that once again the technology enables us to do things in such a different way. So if say I'm a producer and I make a beat, but it enables like async is a very prime example of this. And it's funny because I feel like we've briefly talked about it, but we haven't really gotten into it super in depth. But async is a good example of it's not just it's like a whole new form of art almost. It's not really like the same way. Of course, it's music based, and in a lot of ways, producers who are making a song know like I could have had 7 different bass lines here. I could have had a bunch of different drums here. I could have had a different melody. I could have had different vocals, all that stuff combined. And so it just, it adds for NFTs, and the technology of it all adds to just more experience, which then just enables more value and just more to kind of go into as a creator and also as a consumer. So I just think all that stuff is like really interesting. So for example, like like you were saying about finding melodies in the blockchain, that's like a small element of how we're able to almost find value through these NFTs in a way that just simply wasn't possible before. And I think we're just going to see more and more of that as we go forward. But while I'm ranting here, I was curious. Do you have anything that you particularly are extremely like curious or almost like is there something that's like really interesting you right now in terms of you as a producer creator that you would like to see be done, or something that you might be even working on yourself that is you think might be next level, if you want to drop a nugget of something special for us?
You talking about something that I want to be working on, or something I am working on?
Well, maybe a little bit of both. I mean, it's something that you might find to be, forward pushing, just something that's almost next level. If you feel like you want to give us the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, after doing the async piece, like so many ideas now have crossed my mind. I actually have two interesting things that I want to push off on there. So I mean, I'm not going to disclose that exactly, but the programmable music in art, like it's just so many ways you can go with it. So I'm kind of excited to like kind of dig in more on that over the next like 6 to 9 months probably. And not only just with Async, but like, you know, like that there's that one player that someone on Near made where it's like 67 kilobytes, and it has a player on there, and you can mint the tracks based on the chosen buttons push, you know, kind of like a Fruity Loops player. And just certain things like that, like anything that's like adding like utility to the NFTs, I definitely want to play more with. The what was I gonna say? The one thing I think I'm definitely excited about that I think is kind of forward thinking is I have an album coming out on June 1st called Genesis 127 with Uncle John and Rome Streets, who they're both pretty upper echelon in the you know, lyrical hip hop department, and they both have a pretty big fan base where they usually sell, you know, 1,000 vinyl records sell out pretty quick when it drops. And so for the pre-orders that we're doing for their album, we're actually giving out NFTs for free. So I don't think like many artists that are,
That's interesting.
yeah, they're in that field, and they really have like, you know, a pretty strong like cultish fan base. Both of them do actually. So I think they're good people to try it with, and basically it just gets the fans an NFT without having to like, you know, fuss around with what I got to go do this, what I got to go buy your album here. It's like basically like it's through my Bandcamp page, so it's all personal. So you know, I get the emails and all that stuff, and I made it clear on there that they'll have the opportunity to get it to claim a free NFT. And so basically, you know, when they get the email for the album, they'll also get an email saying, you know, go download such and such and do this and that, and then send your address. And it's really interesting to see how many people participate in that.
Yeah, definitely. I
And
mean,
I think
that's
it could be a case like eventually of like, if this stuff really does take off, then you got like the lost Robbies, right? Where like Art Gnome gave away all the Robbies art pieces at Sotheby's or Christie's or whatever that event was, and now they're all worth like at least 6 figures. And I think something similar could be like, you know, maybe not with ours, but maybe with somebody else too. I don't know, but it could be something like that where, you know, some NFT is given away, like the CryptoPunks, etc., and then, you know, it's a new kind of industry. So like, a lot of the hip hop fans that don't come from the blockchain space aren't gonna like care. So some people will claim it, some people won't, and then maybe it could be like something then that, you know, try to make it something where they get access to like other things coming out. So we'll see how that works.
definitely, yeah. One of the things that I love about that is you're basically onboarding a whole new community. I mean, if they aren't already there. So by
Mm-hmm.
giving it out for free, you're kind of creating that. You're giving that fan base a taste of the Web3 blockchain world by giving it out for free. So
Yeah.
I think even if you know even if you kind of I'm actually curious about what minting platform you're kind of using to do that. And I'm also curious
Mm-hmm.
if you're eating an expense on that. I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
But I just think that there's a lot of upside to that, whether or not you are eating a cost or not, because you're basically onboarding all of these people, and then the next time that you do a drop and those fans of those artists are there, they're gonna have a wallet, they're gonna understand what an NFT is, even subliminally,
Mm-hmm.
or subtly. So I think that's a genius idea. I love that. But I am curious. So um, are you eating an expense there, and what mint platform are you using?
So not much, honestly. For this one, I'm gonna mint on a cheap platform. I'm gonna mint either on Hen platform, or I might mint it on Near Matic, or I might mint it directly on free wallet, which is like a Bitcoin one, where, you know, I can mint there for like 15 cents each. So one of those I'm going to mint on, but basically, yeah, the costs are going to be cheap. It's going to be, you know, just basically like the idea is you got to go to download a wallet, whatever blockchain it is. It's the same thing, whether it's MetaMask or Temple Wallet or Free Wallet or whatever. It's a Chrome extension that most people use. So they got to have the experience of getting that, writing down their seed phrase, and then sending me a public key, and then receiving an NFT. So that experience alone, no matter what it's on, it's not going to work on Ethereum, obviously, because obviously I have to eat, $10,000 probably doing that.
Right.
But I could easily do it on one of those, second layers, or on one of the, the newer chains doing the NFTs. And I'm not worried. I would mint on like, I'm also, I like Bitcoin still, and I think NFTs on there are good, but I would still like to mint my stuff on Ethereum or Bitcoin, that, any of my pieces that are, like epics, you know what I mean? Like, it's the, when you're messing around, you can put stuff on like the other chains to experiment with. And I think it comes at a low cost, and it's still like the same experience. And, I think it's yeah, like you said, I think it's going to be cool. I think it'd be an interesting experiment to see who dives down the rabbit hole. Like I would expect, like, out of the people that get it, maybe like 30% or 20% will claim. And then out of that, like 20 or 30%, I could see like another like 15 to 20% retaining like them into the NFT space. So if that works and it becomes something that a lot of other people start doing too, then it could, could build our scene up quite considerably, hopefully.
Absolutely. And I mean, are you thinking of, with those free NFTs, with whoever collects them, maybe a month in the future, or not even, but like a couple weeks later, are you thinking of maybe rewarding them with any sort of utility with that NFT, or even just like an airdrop of some sort, or even just a simple, unreleased music or something special where they kind of feel like through going through that process it was beneficial?
Yeah, that's going to be the idea for sure. At the end of the day, like, most NFTs that have a value in the community, most of them like were free or very cheap, because I look at like the rare Pepes, like a lot of those, most of those were free. You could buy them for $5, but most of them were airdropped to you, just given away. You got the CryptoPunks for free.
Which sounds crazy right now.
I feel like the Crypto Kitties might have been free. I can't even remember. I don't know. Just a lot of the communities, it's like free, or like the Beeples were $1. Like getting people to collect and then letting them make a secondary market and letting them help build a community. Like, that's what I've experienced in this crypto space that's worked the best. So I don't think you're going to get a lot of people in by like, some like, big artists coming in and being like, give me this much money and then I'll give you this NFT, and then it's hard to trust that they're going to be around. And it's like, people don't really buy into that. But if you have an artist that, has a fan base and they're giving away a free one, and I don't know, like you said, like we could drop something like 3-4 weeks, maybe like the video, or a week access early or something and stuff like that. Just play around with it and see how it goes. But that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I see, and to me, it inspires me something like this week. I don't know why, but I got pretty fascinated by the Popes, the proof of attendance token. And I don't know why, but it came back to my mind several times. And I think it goes back to this moment where I was in CryptoVox and I met a guy, a new neighbor, and he was doing a music place where he's doing live shows. And so on the wall, there was like 10 NFTs, and basically he did them on OpenSea, so on Ethereum. And but the purpose of those NFTs was exactly what you described. It was just for the people that passed by to do basically what the proof of attendance token is doing. So just having an NFT, like you would take a flyer out of a concert, and just for the memory, the NFT memory. And I do believe that where we are looking at is definitely the place where we have low gas fee transaction and a lot of transaction processing happening. The two ratios of the blockchain that limits us right now, and yeah, it feels natural to engage your community around with freebies, but yeah, it just seems like we are coming to the era of it being more possible with the platform like Hink and Nunk and the Near Protocol or Matic or Flow. And so yeah, I'm very excited about this, and I like your vision as well, because it definitely feels more natural to go this way and engage a community that is new to the space or doesn't even know about it, rather than having a big name and trying to cash out on your community that doesn't understand it but FOMO into it. So because or it's whale coming into the game just to collect these memories from these big celebrities, but they are not really playing the same game. So
yeah. But that's a good point too. That's what the part of it is. It's a proof of purchase, but it's a proof of purchase with provenance and chain of custody that you can't duplicate anywhere else. So like, you're like, oh, I used to listen to such and such band, before you, and blah blah blah. And like, there's always that battle going on, especially when you're younger and you want to like own the band. Like you got into the band or the rap group or whatever before,
and you just
anybody
collect.
else. You have this proof now where it's like, nah, motherfucker, check my wallet. Like I got their fucking first album. Like you don't have that. I don't see your address on there. And like it's even like, that's crazy to me. Like that you could have like that proof of purchase kind of just baked in beyond everything, all the other utilities. It's like, that's kind of like as you enter into this metaverse and this new world, your online identity becomes more and more personal and important. Like to have that type of stuff, and like those are your attributes that you wear online. Like instead of having a Ramones shirt or something, you got the Connie Digital NFT on your shirt. Like that's gonna mean something, I think, if everything's going the way that it's going. Like
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Mai, if you have something to say, I have last question before we let you go to the live set.
I was gonna say we only got 3 minutes. I don't want to get on a massive rant here, but no, yeah. I mean, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure getting to hear from you, dude. This is sick. I'm excited to just see, everybody kind of the OGs from people even getting in right now, just continuing to innovate and just find ways to really find value with this sort of technology, and yeah, it's been cool chatting, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all having me here, and the chat was awesome too. I was trying to follow along. Everybody's super amped in the chat. You guys got a good little thing going on here.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I wanted to congratulate you because I was kind of, what the fuck, you sold out all your silver records on the what's happening? What happened?
Yeah, something's up with the credit card until like the middle of the week on that platform. So right now it's just you gotta hand over your spicy Ethereum if you want to track.
Okay, but yeah, no, my question was about social tokens, because I know you were experimenting with those social tokens as well, like Connie, but on the Rally platform rather than on Roll. But when I went on the page today, it says coming soon. So was there an update on your situation here?
Yeah. I got asked by Rally in October to do something on there, and I gave it a little try, but the way they do it a way that is fine for some people for sure. But me being kind of like, I want to control my own address, I want to control my own stuff. It just wasn't for me. So I think, and just doing that, like what I come to find, like I did it really low key anyway. Like I just sent a couple of my friends and stuff, but basically with that, I think the NFTs, at least for me, they make more sense as like a social token. Like if you want to belong to like, part of what, my trajectory is, like, it's like just grab an NFT. Like that's all you have to do. Like it's like, I'm signed up with like, what Skrilla's doing. Like I'll grab an NFT. It's like, that's kind of how I look at it with most things. Like I don't have NFTs or crypto art from everybody that I like in the space, but I know that that's kind of like part of my goal. Is like I want to make sure I grab a little piece of everybody, like while I can. So that's kind of how I look at it. And then social tokens for like a community, I can see them being way more beneficial than for somebody like me. But you know, it takes a community to do like the type of stuff that we do. Like we're not out here selling 100,000 records. Like so, like I think it's more special to have it as a community token. You know, and then you rally around each other, and it kind of becomes more like, you know, people that help you out, you earn more, and vice versa, and artists helping artists. So, you know, I can see that as a better idea. And like the DAOs and the DAO tokens, I think like, you know, some of those are interesting ways to like do that type of stuff too. But just having like a social token, I think you could. I don't know. I feel like you could just add utility for the most part and make your NFTs your social tokens. But I could be wrong on that. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, sometimes I have the same vision. Yeah, the NFTs is the currency, can be in the currency, and that's an experiment that has been done by Second Realm, Eric, if you know, where he created 1 million NFT on Rarible and made it basically the currency. And what is stopping him from doing so? That was the experiment. And yeah, so in some way, when you're an artist, I can see some taking the road of using the NFT as the currency. And we've talked about it as well with Mai and Connie, as why not, you know, doing creatives NFTs as your currency instead of using a social currency. But yeah, that will be a possibility, I believe, for to take both roads and experiment with it on different ecosystems. But I see it as definitely being possible. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. We will let you go to the live show.
Yeah, thanks. If anybody checking it out,
yeah,
go hook up with and Crypto Voxels. I think
yeah, I'm sharing.
Get a link in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. So I invite the whole chat to move on to the playground, where you have the link right now shared by Vandal, where and I will be streaming the music here in Discord as well from the show, but we can meet in CryptoVoxel to dance all together. And thank you so much, Scrilla, for this conversation. It has been, yeah, absolutely very interesting, and I'm glad to have met you in the space, and thank you for all your inspiration, and I wish we continue to share together things. And I know we have things to do in CryptoVoxels as well, some buildings, and
oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I gotta get that place right.
Absolutely. And so thank you very much, and we will let everyone enjoy the show. And just to mention, you just changed the layer on the async music piece, so make sure everyone to go check this new update here.